Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bailey if you're new here, and today I am so excited because we're going to be talking about summer books, and I have a very good list here. Let's get right on into it. So I'm going to be starting talking about like mystery thriller type books. The first one I have is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This is a series. I have only read the first one so far. It's very good. This is about Cadence, and her family is like super like rich and everything, and they have like I feel like a whole island like in Massachusetts, and they go there every single summer. And one summer, Cadence wakes up and she was found on the shore right by their house, and she wakes up at a hospital, and she like was in, I want to say, a coma for like like 3 days or something like that. And you spend the whole book kind of her figuring out what happened to her because she can't remember. And so you spend the whole like book trying to figure this out, and there's plot twists and family deception, and also just the like group of kids that they're called the liars. They're not actually liars, they're just like a group of like teenagers that have always been called the liars. But it's like cousins and then her aunt's boyfriend's nephew, and they've just been there forever, and so they just are best friends. And yeah, so it's really good. And the show I read this to watch the show. The show is so good, and it is different than the book, but like not in a bad way or anything like that. I like both of them for what they are. So highly recommend this book if you want like a mystery, like, but super like fast paced, I would say. um very much recommend. Next, I have The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. This is also a mystery, and this is about, it's like a dual POV-ish. So we have Emily, who is our our main character, and she goes to Italy in the villa and to be in a villa for like 6 weeks with her best friend Jessica. They are both authors, and they have like it's kind of like a writer's retreat almost, but also spending time with your best friend. They were best friends since childhood. And then in the 70s, there was a murder at the same villa. And it was rock stars, and they were trying to like write music. And then one of the rock stars' girlfriends, Mary, and her stepsister, Laura, and you get Mary's point of view as well. And it was just so good. There was like plot twists, and there was like, you get like drama between both sides for different reasons. And it was just so like interesting to like learn about, and kind of like fun to kind of be in Italy. I will say there is mention of child loss. So go, if that's something triggering to you, just kind of like go in knowing that, and just gonna put that out there so no one goes in blind, not knowing that. But it was a very cozy mystery, I feel like, and the plot twist were crazy. You and then you think you know, and then literally in the last chapter it changes and is different. It's so crazy, but it's very, very good, and definitely recommend this. It's super short, so it's like a very fun, like cozy mystery beach read. So highly recommend that. And next, I do have one I think is like fiction. It is The 5-Star Weekend by Ellen Hildebrandt. It's so good. It's about our female main character, our main character, excuse me, Hollis Shaw, and her husband just died in a car accident. And later in the summer, she goes to her house in Nantucket and invites four of her friends from different points in her life, and has what she calls the 5-star weekend. She saw it on like a blog or something, and she just was kind of trying to get through her grief in a way, and kind of shake everything off and have fun with people who she knows she loves. And so it was just so fun, and each of the women have something going on internally, and so that was super fun. And Nantucket feels like a character in and of itself, and feels like it's telling the story of what's kind of unfolding. So that was like super cool to kind of like hear. Is just kind of like, it was kind of like a bird's eye view of everything, and internally what people were thinking and everything like that. So that was super fun. Highly recommend that. I did audiobook and read that on my Kindle for that one specifically. Now we're going into the romance. So summer feels like I just want to read a summer romance. So I have quite a bit of those. The first one I'm going to just talk about is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. So this is about Poppy and Alex, and they met in college, and it was kind of like they both lived in this same small town, and so they were kind of just gonna she was just gonna hitch a ride with him when they went back, and then they formed a friendship, and they had been friends for entire college, and they always went on a summer vacation. And then 2 years ago something happened, and it's not told until like way later in the book, but they hadn't talked, and then Alex's sister actually is getting married, and so she invites Poppy, and then they kind of reconnect and kind of go through the process of almost forgiving each other, but also moving forward, and kind of everything that happens after that. And so it was so good, and yeah, highly recommend. I did read this because of the Netflix movie that was coming out, and yes, it was amazing. And highly recommend this one. I mean, Emily Henry is just the queen, I feel like, of summer romance for me personally, and yeah, highly recommend. The next one I have is another Emily Henry book. It is Beach Read, and this book, this is the second Emily Henry book I ever read, and like it quickly became my favorite book, one of my favorite books that I've ever read. So this is about January and Gus, and they are both authors. They're kind of like, I want to say rivals. They've been rivals since college when they met. And so January is going to this house in Michigan to it was her dad's house, and he actually passed away. And so she's going to kind of like finish everything up, sell stuff that she doesn't want, kind of thing. And so they're both authors, and they're both kind of like in ruts, I would say. And he actually is her next door neighbor, from right next to her cottage in the Michigan and everything like that. And so they kind of form this alliance, and they make a bet to kind of write opposite genres. So he writes like fiction, kind of, I want to say nonfiction, or like something like horror, like thriller, like I don't know. I think nonfiction, and she writes romance. So he was supposed to write a romance, and she was supposed to write his genre, and kind of see whose was better. And then it's so good. Like they just find themselves within each other, and it was just the romance, everything was just perfection. And I am so excited because this is also becoming I want to say Netflix, if not just a movie in general. And I mean, it has Phoebe Dynevor and Patrick Schwarzenegger. And oh my gosh, I'm gonna definitely reread this right before I watch it, and it's gonna be so good. All right, the next one I have is The Match by Sarah Adams. This was so cute. So it's about Evie and Jacob. It's in Charleston, which is initially what drew me to this. And so Evie works at it's where they like give like service animals to people, and she helps them match with service animals. And Jacob's daughter has epilepsy, and so she needs to like have obviously a service animal to like make her feel more free, I guess. And so they just form this friendship and everything like that, and it's just them coming together. He's very like, I want to say like broody and kind of like not wanting to kind of, I don't know, but I love this. It was so much fun. It was very like atmospheric. Like I love Charleston so much, and so I was like imagining everything, and it was just so cute. It is age gap, but not in like a weird way or anything like that. And so this is just, it's so cute to kind of like go through their relationship from start to finish. And next I have Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I need to read One Golden Summer so bad because of this book. So this is actually my first Carly Fortune book I read, and I loved it. So this is about Percy and the Florrick boys, mainly Sam, and it's just they met when she was like 13. Her family bought a cottage, and it was like literally right there next door to the Florrick boys' house, and so they just like formed a friendship. And the older brother Charlie like kind of forced a friendship on Sam and Percy, and they just like hit it off and they became best friends. And then she comes back, then their relationship ends, and they like come back. She comes back 10 years later to the area, and then they kind of reconnect and everything like that, and they just kind of go through the process of almost like people we meet on vacation. They just like kind of go through that process of almost forgiving each other and themselves, and it's just so cute. So best friends to love, yeah, childhood best friends to lovers. It's just mwah, so good, so good. And like, oh my goodness, just like the like quotes in here are just unreal. And like there's like a plot twist, and I was just like shook, and so like I don't even know, it's so good, it's so good. So yeah, this is mwah. This is also a dual timeline as well. You have kind of like when they were like all the way from when they were like first meeting each other all the way to present day. And I love dual timeline. I love it so much. And then we have I want to say a newer book. It is newer. It came out in March. Just Friends. Yeah, it's so good. So this is another one that's dual timeline, childhood best friends to lovers. This is about Blair and Declan. They became friends, I want to say when they were like 8, and then there was something that happened, and you don't really know about it until later in the book, but something happens, and then she like moves away and like hasn't come back in a very long time. And then she comes back because her aunt is like go like very sick, and so she like obviously comes back to like spend time with her and everything like that. And then it's just beautiful. And she's trying to find a job so she can like, because her aunt's kind of like, okay, go do something. And she goes to a coffee shop to try to get a job, and he owns the coffee shop. And then they just kind of, once again, kind of going through the process of forgiving each other, forgiving themselves. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful relationship and a beautiful like story of love and loss and grief. And the way she talks about grief in here is just so beautiful. And yeah, I could just gush about this forever. I could gush and gush and gush and gush, but this is so good. And then I have Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is my first like cowboy romance, and it's in the Chestnut Springs series. I haven't really read any more of the Chestnut Springs series. I love this. So it's about Rhett and Summer, and Summer works at her father's like office to where, and he is a agent for people, and Rhett is a professional bull rider, and he's kind of in a lot of heat for being just like a brood. And so her dad puts her kind of like on like the case and everything on his like, I don't know, he makes her stay with him through the summer to like keep an eye on him essentially and make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. And it's just so beautiful because there's like a grumpy sunshine, and in turn like just makes him a like sunshine character. And I love it so much because the beginning to the end of like his demeanor in like life is just so cute, and it's so adorable. Like it's in, I want to say Wyoming, where like he lives like on a huge ranch with his family, and it's just so cute. So cute. And then we have kind of, I feel like everybody mentions this because how could you not mention The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han without thinking it's summer, obviously. This is one that I definitely recommend, for sure, because it is a YA and it's like no spice, all romance, and it's just so stinking cute. So it's about Belly and the Fisher boys. Their moms were best friends since college, and they always spend the summer at their house, and it's just so good. And this is a series, obviously, and the first one is just kind of, you see Belly likes, obviously, if you've seen the show, you know, Belly likes Conrad, and she kind of has always liked him, and so it's kind of her almost getting over that, but also not, and also Conrad just yearning, and it's beautiful. I love all of these, almost all of these characters. I don't agree with some of their actions. I will say Belly's actions, but she's also a young girl, so that's kind of my take on it. But yeah, that's this. If you have seen the show, you kind of know what's up with this. But yeah, it's so good. So next I have Summer in the City by Alex Astor. This is the first Alex Astor book that I have read, and it was so good. So this is about Elle and Parker. So Elle had like left New York for how long? I don't know, to some amount of time. And so she comes back and she's a screenwriter and she has like writer's block, and she ends up meeting one of her neighbors at some point, and he is Parker, and they like made out like a few years prior, like right when she left New York, and he like kind of was just a jerk. And then they form like a bet or like an alliance kind of situation there, to where he's gonna help her and she's gonna help him. There's fake dating, and it's just so good. And it's based in New York, obviously, and it's just, I love New York so much. So reading about like summer in New York was so much fun. And yeah, so that is that. It's just very like fast paced. It's just very cute to read, and yeah, very fun. There's just like so much, and he's like a billionaire, so he like takes her to so many places and like helps her kind of with her screenplay. It's just so good. So those are the summer book recs that I have. I know it's like almost the end of summer, and that just, I feel like it just went by too fast. So I'm very late to the game, but it's so good. So much fun. I love reading summer books. Summer is like my favorite time to read. Summer and fall, I think, are my favorite times because those books are just so good and atmospheric. And yeah, so those are the books that I have recommendations for you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have had fun, and I hope you got at least one recommendation that you haven't read from these books. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye.